Have you ever felt the urge to just escape? To leave behind the noise, the demands, the endless hustle of modern life, and find a quiet place to simply think and be? Well, one man actually did it, over 170 years ago. And his story, his ideas, are more relevant today than ever before. His name was Henry David Thoreau, and he wasn't just some hermit in the woods. He was a revolutionary thinker, a poet, an abolitionist, and a pioneer of the environmental movement, long before it even had a name. Today, we are diving deep into the life and legacy of the man who went to the woods to live deliberately. Born in Concord, Massachusetts, in 1817, Henry grew up in a place that was a hotbed of intellectual ferment. Imagine living down the street from Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of the greatest thinkers of the age. Thoreau was a bright kid, and with some help, he made it to Harvard. But unlike his peers who were chasing careers in law, medicine, or the church, Thoreau was different. He questioned everything. After graduation, he briefly taught school but resigned because he refused to use corporal punishment. He tried his hand at his family's pencil-making business and actually became quite good at it, innovating new techniques. But a conventional life just wasn't for him. He was searching for something more, something authentic. This search led him straight to Transcendentalism, a philosophical movement that was blossoming right in his backyard. Led by his friend and mentor, Ralph Waldo Emerson, the Transcendentalists believed in the inherent goodness of people and nature. They felt that society and its institutions, particularly organized religion and political parties, corrupted the purity of the individual. Their advice? Look inward, trust your intuition, and connect with the divine through nature. For Thoreau, this wasn't just an abstract idea. It was a call to action. And that action led him to a small, pristine pond just outside of town, Walden Pond. On July 4th, 1845, a deliberately symbolic date, his own personal Independence Day, Thoreau moved into a tiny cabin he built himself on land owned by Emerson. His goal was not to be a recluse, but to conduct an experiment in simple living. He wanted to strip away all the non-essentials of life to see what was truly important. As he famously wrote, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not when I came to die discover that I had not lived." For 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days, Thoreau lived at Walden Pond. He wasn't a hermit cut off from the world. He walked into town frequently, had visitors, and engaged in deep conversation. But his primary focus was on observing the world around him. He meticulously documented the changing seasons, the behavior of the animals, the depth and color of the pond, the sounds of the wind and the ice. He wasn't just a nature lover. He was a scientist in the wild, a proto-ecologist. He measured, he recorded, he analyzed. His journals from this time became the foundation for his masterpiece, Walden, or Life in the Woods, published in 1854. Walden wasn't an immediate bestseller, but its influence has grown immensely over time. It's not just a book about living in nature. It's a profound critique of modern life. Thoreau questions our relentless pursuit of wealth, our obsession with progress, and our mindless conformity. He asks, why do we work so hard to buy things we don't need? Why do we build big houses when a small, simple shelter is enough? He urges us to simplify, simplify. It's a message that resonates so powerfully today in our world of fast fashion, constant digital notifications, and the pressure to always want more. Walden is a manual for intentional living, a guide to finding wealth not in possessions, but in time, freedom, and self-awareness. But Thoreau's story doesn't end at the pond. While living at Walden, another defining moment of his life occurred. One evening, he walked into Concord to get a shoe repaired and was arrested. His crime? He had refused to pay his poll tax for several years. Now, this wasn't because he was broke. It was an act of protest. Thoreau was a staunch abolitionist, and he refused to give his money to a government that supported slavery and was waging what he saw as an unjust war against Mexico. He spent a night in jail, and while it was just one night, it had a profound impact on him. This experience led him to write another of his most famous works, an essay originally titled Resistance to Civil Government, but now better known as Civil Disobedience. In it, Thoreau argues that individuals have a moral responsibility to resist unjust laws and not participate in or support an unjust government. He famously states, "Under a government which imprisons any unjustly, the true place for a just man is also a prison." He championed the power of the individual conscience over the dictates of the state. Think about the ripple effect of that idea. Civil disobedience went on to inspire some of the most important figures of the 20th century. A young lawyer in South Africa named Mohandas Gandhi read it and developed his strategy of nonviolent resistance, which he used to help win India's independence. Decades later, a leader of the American civil rights movement, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., cited Thoreau's essay as a key influence on his philosophy of nonviolent protest. From the anti-apartheid movement to peaceful protests around the globe, Thoreau's One Night in Jail and the essay it inspired have empowered countless individuals to stand up for what they believe is right. After leaving Walden, Thoreau didn't stop writing or advocating for his beliefs. He became a more vocal and fiery abolitionist. He defended the radical abolitionist John Brown, who many at the time considered a terrorist, calling him an angel of light. This was a brave and unpopular stance, but Thoreau was never one to follow the crowd. He continued his nature studies, working as a surveyor to support himself, which allowed him to roam the woods and fields of Concord, ever the keen observer. He amassed a huge amount of data on plant life, river flows, and local ecology, work that scientists are still studying today to understand climate change and environmental shifts. Sadly, Thoreau's life was cut short. He had struggled with tuberculosis for years, and he passed away in 1862 at the age of just 44. At the time of his death, he was relatively unknown outside of his small intellectual circle. His books had sold poorly, and many considered him an eccentric failure. But history has proven them wrong. Henry David Thoreau's legacy is immense and multifaceted. He is hailed as a founding father of the environmental movement. Writers like John Muir and Rachel Carson drew inspiration from his deep connection to and defense of the natural world. His call to simplify has become a mantra for the minimalist movement and for anyone seeking a more meaningful life beyond consumerism. His political philosophy laid the groundwork for nonviolent resistance movements that have changed the course of history. So, what can we take from Thoreau's life today? We don't all have to build a cabin in the woods to appreciate his message. It's about cultivating a Walden mindset in our own lives. It's about taking a walk in a local park and truly observing what is around us. It's about questioning whether the things we're chasing, the next promotion, the bigger house, the latest gadget, are truly making us happy. It's about having the courage to follow our own conscience, even when it's difficult or unpopular. Thoreau teaches us that a life of purpose isn't found in following the well-worn path, but in carving our own. He encourages us to be awake, to be deliberate, and to never let our lives be frittered away by detail. His experiment in living continues to inspire us to conduct our own, to find our own Walden, wherever that may be. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story inspiring, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of fascinating thinkers. Let me know in the comments which of Thoreau's ideas resonates with you the most. Until next time, stay curious.